tonight it's time for our space section. We have a special side event in UN, and usually this year, so you know, the 80th anniversary, the end of Second World War, and then 60 years of the normalization between Korea and Japan. And this reason, maybe in Korea and Japan and other areas, there are several anniversary events. But to us, the new Asia Peace Academy and the YMCA National Couriers, so we decided to do this project to visit the Geneva of Human Rights Council, and we delivered the new generation's opinion to Human Rights Council and all of the world NGO groups. Tonight, and then it's in the middle after 1:30 in Geneva, and we would like to share our works and our opinion to yours and other NGO groups take part in tonight. Then, we have a schedule 1 week's program from September 22. We arrived at Geneva, and then nowadays we also almost 1 week stayed here. And then World YMCA Geneva, they cooperated with us. It's very helpful, and it's very thanks to them. And first, we listened to the speech from World YMCA. Now we are at the meeting in the World YMCA. Please, let's give a hand to World YMCA.
Yeah, hi everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. My name is Maricris Aldarriaga, and I am a program manager here at World YMCA. And on behalf of World YMCA, it's my great honor to welcome all of you to this important side event and bring you the warm greetings of our president, Madam Soheila Hayek, and our Secretary General, Mr. Carlos Zambi, who unfortunately could not be here. This year, as Yongsha already emphasized, so it's deeply symbolic because we celebrate two milestones: the 80th anniversary of the end of the Second World War, and also the 60th anniversary of the normalization of diplomatic relations between Korea and Japan. And I think these milestones are really important because they remind us of the painful legacies of conflict and division, but also of the power of reconciliation and hope. Today's gathering reflects both remembrance and resolve to learn from history and to shape a more peaceful future. At World YMCA, as you know, our mission for over 180 years has been to empower young people and to strengthen communities. We believe that young people are not only the leaders of tomorrow, but actually the change makers of today. And around the world, we actually see young people taking bold actions for justice, for inclusion, for the environment, and also for peace. So this group, we are really, really happy to see shining young people who are actually from the Korean and Japanese youth coming together to speak about peace, human rights, and friendship across borders. The YMCA movement has long been committed with peace building, as you know, from the work during times of war to its ongoing role in intercultural dialogue. We have learned that peace is not only the absence of conflict, but the presence of justice, mutual understanding, and solidarity. And we know that sustainable peace can only be built when young people are given the space to contribute their ideas, their courage, and their vision. So to all the young participants here, I want to say this clearly: your voices actually matter, and they matter even more here in the YMCA. Your experiences, your dreams, and your proposals are essential to building a future where dignity and peace are rights that are enjoyed not by just a few, but by all. May this event not only strengthen the friendship between youth of Korea and Japan, but also inspire the wider international community to take steps towards ending unresolved conflicts and addressing the wounds of history. And may it remind us that together, across generations and borders, we can choose dialogue over division, cooperation over confrontation, and peace over war. Thank you once again for including World YMCA in this journey, and we stand with you, we support you, and we celebrate your courage in raising your voices for peace. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marcis. She supported everything for us, and it's very, very helpful to us. And thank you again to her. Okay, and next also we would like to receive a kind of remark speech from Japan. And Uemura Hideaki, he's the co-president of our MPA, and he's congressman of Japan. Yeah, he support this program. Yeah, please give a hand to Uemura Hideaki.
Good afternoon and good evening. My name is Hideaki Uemura, ex-president of NPA and member of Japanese lower house of National Diet. So I thank all of you for giving me a floor. As we open the NPA junior side events at the UN Human Rights Council, the rights to peace and human rights of East Asian citizens, especially Korean and Japanese youth, I offer a brief greeting as one of the pioneers who initiated activities in Japan where citizens collaborate with international organizations in the 1980s. You are now standing in Geneva, Switzerland, a country of perpetual neutrality. During the Napoleonic era, Geneva was occupied and annexed by France in 1798, but exercised its rights to self-determination and chose to rejoin the Swiss Confederation. Furthermore, Swiss Confederation maintained its neutrality even when surrounded by Nazi Germany and Fascist Italy. And it was in this city that the world's first international organization, the League of Nations, was established in 1920 with the aim of achieving world peace. Following the Great War, the First World War, which claimed tens of millions of victims. On the shores of the Lac Léman, Lake Geneva, you can see the original League of Nations headquarters building, Palais Wilson. This city is one of the fittest place for young people to discuss the future from the perspective of peace and human rights, and to share the energy to advance its possibility. In this sense, I sincerely hope your side events will be fruitful. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Uemura Hideaki. And we are very appreciated to Uemura's effort. You know, the Uemura's main major is the research for indigenous people of Japan, right? And at times there's a very minority research. There's no person to research about the indigenous people, because Japan is a kind of it's a one nation or the United Nations, but Japan is a very multicultural, and according to Uemura Hideaki's research, and now Japan come to understand that Japan society is a multicultural society, and he is a pioneer of the human rights councils, attending from Japan. That's the reason we take over and succeeded his effort. Yeah, let's give a hand to Uemura again.
Okay, thank you, Uemura.
Thank you very much.
Sorry. Again. Okay, let me introduce our today's program. Then, this is a special side event for Peace Right for South Korean Japan youth program. Then we have a 3 presentator this program, and then another 2 step the third presentation from Japan and Korea, and then third part we would like to listen to students from Japan and Korea what they saw and what they think in this program. This is maybe, this side event is just limited 1 hour or little 10 or 15 minutes. And the other NGO staff also attending this program. This is a limited time, but we would like to enjoy this program. And please don't recording, just except for permission, the actors, just respect our program and enjoy this program together. Yeah, first, let me explain about the purpose of this program and the relations between Japan and Korea. And the next, from Korea, the Dr. Sok, she presented about the relationship, young generation relationship between South Korea and Japan. And third, we listen to the other countries, the reconciliation program from Mexico as the Kinjo Linda and the Dokumori. She come from Okinawa and she has a lot of the experience, the youth program in other countries, especially Mexico. And after that, I invited two staff from Japan to Korea. Let's start, right? And let me explain a little about our program. And every presentation, please include me just 10 minutes, okay? Just 10 minutes. Okay. Then this year also I explained that the 60th anniversary between Japan and Korea's normalization and since 1965. And then we have several programs in Japan and Korea, also in United States last week. This program is a kind of a final program to celebrate the normalization between Japan and Korea. Why youth people come to the Geneva, right? Then what is the junior program? Then after COVID-19, between Korea and Japan, the MPA and the Korea part is the World Seoul YMCA and the National Council of YMCA in Korea. We decided to launch the youth program. Because of COVID-19, the young generation, they cannot visit each other. This reason, we use the online Zoom, and we have a program almost 4 years. And then 2023, this is the 50s, 70s years, the end of Korea War, but it's not end, it's continual. This region, the Korean student and Japan student, we met together and visited the division area of Korean Peninsula. And then we declared the end of Korea War. And this time we visited Geneva. Based on our 4 years or 5 years, the program today and this year is a kind of the final program to deliver our young generation's opinion to the world organizations. Then this time is our detailed schedule. The September 22, we arrived at Geneva. Except me, maybe everybody is the first time to Geneva. How was Geneva? It's good. It's wonderful. Yeah. And then the next day, September 23, we visit the UN headquarters. Maybe later, I also expected to listen to your opinion. What is the UN headquarters? Well, it's a wonderful organization. And then we came to this World YMCA. World YMCA, I surprised this first time. They do a lot of things. The young generation, they support this program, and they have a world program in the YMCA, including Japan and Korea. And then yesterday, we visited IFRC in the morning, and we visited ICRC afternoon. Do you know what is the difference IFRC and ICRC? Wow, it's the first time to me. I didn't know IFRC, just I visited several times ICRC Red Cross, right? But it's a Federation Red Cross. But first time we visited there and we learned a lot of things. You know, the father of the founder YMCA and the father of IFRC is the same person, right? Same person. It's a very, very wonderful thing. And then we visited Lausanne. Lausanne, you know the city of International Olympic Committees, right? But it's just not Olympic city. Lausanne is a kind of direct democracy of Switzerland. Is a kind of started from Lausanne. Lausanne have a kind of the traditional the city, and we met the parliament members introduced by Nakano Koichi. Maybe Professor Nakano Koichi, you are maybe attended today, right? This region is we had a very wonderful time. And today we visited ILO. Wow, ILO is an international labor organization, but the history is longer than the UN, right? It started in 1919, the end of the First War, the end of the kind of during the Russian Revolution. There's ILO is started. We visited there, and now that we listen to the youth, the workers' problem in the world, and we learned a lot of things. And this time we have a side event with the World YMCA and the Korea YMCA national together. And maybe this is a final program of today. This program, we learned about the international organization, and we would like to deliver our message to the Human Rights Council of UN. Then, this is a little just I shared the pictures. The first day, right? We visited the United League, the old headquarters, right? And then we visited the United Nations, the buildings, and this is the picture after they visiting the United Nations. How was their faces? But maybe later come back to Japan and Korea, we have a time to report again. Just I shared just short pictures, right? And then this left pictures is the inside of United Nations, and the right pictures is the IFRC, right? IFRC. And then, started my just a small talk, right? Then why we come to visited this United Nations this years. As you know, the relationship between South Korea and Japan. A little, let me explain it for a short time. The Korea have the 70 years after established the South Korea. The 1945, Korea liberated from Japan colonization, right? The Japan's colonized Korea for 35 years. Then we thinking that Korea liberated, and we depended. But just in the 3 years, Korea divided two areas, South Korea and North Korea, right? And then, but that time, for 3 years, Korea tried to resolve the colonization problem, right? Then, because we are liberated from Japan's imperialism, there's so many cooperators to Japan colonialism or Japan imperialism. But occurring of the Korean War in 1950, before the dissolve of colonization problem, the Korean War occurred. That's the reason colonialism's problem is stopped everything. But 3 years, South Korea, North Korea, the conflicted each other, and then we have a casualty for 100 million people, right? But we cannot make a united country. After 1953, then we have to admit these division countries, right? But then after 70 years passed, but even now the Korean War is continued, right? But the 1951, America then invented to come to the Japan, and then they go to the Korean Peninsula to combat with the Korean Peninsula against China and against North Korea. But that time Japan decided liberated Japan to support American wars backside. That means the San Francisco peace treaty is made between Japan and the other allied countries. But that time, Japan is exempted the responsibility of the colonialism to Koreans. And then 1965, the Korea and Japan made a normalization relationship, but based on the San Francisco peace treatment, Japan also exempted to South Korea the responsibility of the colonization problem. Because that is the Korean War, and the normalization between Japan and Korea is linked together. Then there is the Japan that don't have need to have a responsibility to the colonization problem to South Korea, and then even now the situation continues there. But the normalization between two countries, even we have a 60th anniversary today, but we have to admit that we cannot finish the Korean War, and we cannot solve the colonization problem between two countries. But this problem is very important to the next generation. Without finished Korean War, there's no peace to next generation. And without dissolve the colonization problem, also the relations between two countries, they have a kind of emotional conflict in the future. That's the reason how we dissolve or how we finish Korea War and how we solve this corona problem, that we have to dialogue between two countries and include the United Nations and other countries together. Because, you know, United Nations also, they sent the military to Korean Peninsula. They are a part of the Korean War. And this reason, I think the Korean War is, even though two countries tried to finish that, but we couldn't finish that. And then we have to dialogue with America or allied countries or the United Nations and other NGO actors together. And this reason, to the next generation, I think they have a right to their peace right to the future. And then the students from Korea and Japan, they try to their opinion to deliver it to United Nations this time. Okay, and yeah, my expression is just right here, and then maybe we would like to listen to other presenters' talks. Then, and then we prepared our written statement to the Human Rights Council of this 60th section of this time, and then we submitted our written statement. And then 2 days before the item post the section general debate, this section is truth, justice, reparation, and the prevention of future conflict. This section, they adopted our written statement. This just please reference of these materials. We applied it to 4 hours assertion as a kind of strange international cooperation and establish such type of international network of something. This written statement adopted this section. Maybe you can see the 130 New Era Asia Peace Academy's written statements adopted there. And then maybe later we will left to the official document of Human Rights Council of these years, right? And then we prepare the oral statement in that item. The written statement is maybe 3 or 4 pages document, but if you adopted this written statement, you can do the oral statement in that place. Just 1 minute 30 seconds is permitted to the sections. And we prepared the oral statement. Students from Korea and Japan together. Yeah, this is the last part of my presentation. Please listen to our students' oral statement about this section. Okay. Share the picture. 화면 교육.
Mr. President, I speak today on behalf of our organization. To reflect the voices of youth from Korea and Japan, I would like to give the floor to our young representatives.
Mr. President, this year marks 80 years since the end of the Second World War and 60 years of diplomatic relations between Korea and Japan. Yet, two urgent tasks remain unresolved: ending the Korean War and addressing colonial injustices.
For over 7 decades, the absence of peace treaty has fueled militarization, diverted resources from education and welfare, and denied young people opportunities for cooperation.
At the same time, the legacy of colonial rule, forced labor, sexual slavery, remain insufficiently addressed. As survivors age, we, the youth, bear the responsibility to preserve memory and prevent denial.
Ending the Korean War and achieving historical justice are vital, not only for our region, but also for safeguarding dignity and peace for future generations worldwide.
Mr. President, we urge this Council to support our Korea Peace Treaty, promote truth and reparations, and strengthen peace and history education for youth. These are not issues of the past, but essential to the future of human rights. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, let's give it. Well, yeah, the English is excellent, right? And they prepared that. This is, this is a one time, this recording, so perfect. Let's give hand to each other. Thank you again. Okay, let me move to the next section. Maybe I would like to invite the Dr. Seok Joo-hee from Korea. She's a research fellow, Northeast Asia History Foundation of Korea. Her main topic is history and challenges of Korea-Japan youth exchanges. Please give a hand to the Seok Joo-hee. 석 선생님 뮤트. It's a mute.
Okay, and can you see my presentation? Can I share?
Yes.
Okay. 지금 제 거 보이시는 거죠, 교수님? 화면.
네.
Okay. And thank you. And good evening or good afternoon, everyone. And thank you for joining me today. My name is Joo Hee-seok, and I work at the Northeast Asian History Foundation in Korea. First, I would like to express my sincere gratitude for inviting me to this meaningful gather. It is an honor to share insight on a topic that connects our communities and future generations. And today, I am delighted to speak about the history and challenges of Korean-Japan youth exchanges, a story of how young people have built a bridge of understanding and trust across the border. And since the normalization of diplomatic relations in 1965, Korea and Japan youth exchange has evolved into low intensity and public diplomacy infrastructure, fostering mutual understanding and trust among future generations. And it started with a top-down initiatives, central government arranging symbolic visit, and evolved into a multiple-layered system of local government, NGOs, and schools. And most recently, the pandemic forced us to innovate, shifting to digital like this and hybrid formats that actually made the participants more flexible and inclusive. Let me illustrate with one image. A group of Korean and Japanese students in 2022 met entirely online, yet one participant said to me, it felt like we were in same loop because we spent weeks preparing a joint video project about our hometown. Even without travel, relationships grow. The historically development is as below. In the late of 1960s and 1970s, programs were ceremonial but deeply emotional. For example, Korean children's choir performed in Tokyo in 1968. Newspapers columns wrote about audience members crying as they heard the arirang. Such encounters were small but seeded empathy in a time of political coldness. And from the 1980s, building institutional foundations, the revival of local self-government in Korea and Japan led to this signing of sister city agreements. Exchange focused on administrative cooperation and public official programs, establishing the first formal frameworks for multiplayer diplomacy. And then in the 2000s, exchanges become institutionalized, and Japan launched Genesis program from the 27, aiming to bring thousands of young people each year. Korea's youth exchanges expanded too, with programs sending about 150 students abroad annually, including to Japan. Activity became specialized, such as robotics camps in Fukuoka and peace education in Hiroshima, and environmental volunteer work in coastal cities. Korean students from Hiroshima Peace Tour wrote later, "I understood the history differently when standing inside the peace memorial with Japanese friends." And by the 2010s, students themselves shaped the programs. Youth journalism workshop in Busan and Tokyo trained teenagers to interview peers and media narrative about history, and shaped pop culture, K-pop, animation, online fan communities, help students connect first online and then offline. NGOs and alumni networks emerged, keeping friendship alive after official trip ended. And from the 2020, and then came COVID-19, borders closed, but exchanges didn't stop. The Japan-Korea Youth Friendship Exchanges online in 2022 with 11 Japanese and 12 Korean participants. It was very small but very meaningful. And virtual homestay became popular. Families show their homes via smartphone and share cooking lessons and introduce local neighbors virtually. Now, many programs use the hybrid model like this: online preparation and relationship building, then short but intensive in-person visit, followed by online collaboration to maintain momentum. Okay, and this shows the trend of Korea-Japan regional exchange by sector, and I more explain this chart. First of all, yellow color means the administrative exchanges constantly lead overall volumes, though they fell sharply after 2017, bottom out around 2020 during the pandemic, and then rebounded strongly in 2023 and nowadays. And blue color is about the educational program, like second, and show a similar dip in 2020, followed by steady recovery, reaching their highest level by 2024. And sports, purple means the sports, and dark green meaning the economic exchange remains smaller but show signs of recovery after 2021. Overall, the data reflects how COVID-19 caused a broad downturn across the all exchanges period around 2020, but most sectors, especially administrative, educational, and the cultural field, have since rebounded strongly, suggesting resilience and growing demand for local level cooperation. And this chart shows that Korean-Japan Youth Exchange participants by government, for example. And participants lose sharply from about 30 students in 2018 because of COVID-19, and to roughly 150 participants in 2019, reflecting a period of growth and activity program support before the pandemic. In 2020 and 2021, exchange were heavily disrupted due to the COVID-19 travel restriction and leading to a steep decline. And by 2024, numbers recovered to about 50 participations in person exchanges. And the graph highlights both the vulnerability of exchange programs to global events and their resilience and adaptability, shifting to digital formats and rebounding when conditions allowed. And this graph also shows the distribution by exchange types. And this chart also distribution of Korean-Japan youth exchanges program by government. And the largest share, about 30%, is A카데미, including study tours, research collaboration, and language programs. And cultural exchange follow at 25, covered art, music, festival, and everyday cultural immersion. Sports activities account for 20%, such as joining training, friendly matches, and sports diplomacy. And also public diplomacy, as you guys, initiatives represent 50%, focusing on peace dialogue, like MP, such as MPA, and historical understanding and policy-related youth forms. The chart shows that the small group of Korean-Japan exchange programs, while academic cultural exchanges remain dominant, and there is a meaningful diversification into sports and public diplomacy, and lifting a shift from purely cultural interaction to broader cooperation and trust building. So I'd like to say about the key picture of youth exchange between Korea and Japan. First is the diversity of actors. Youth exchange is no longer controlled only by the central government and local municipalities, and youth schools and even students' clubs now take the lead. And decentralization makes program more resilient to political up and downs. And second is the program diversity. Activities go beyond the cultural goodwill. They include academic collaboration, cultural and artistic exchanges, sports diplomacy, and environmental actions, and forums on public diplomacy and peace. And third is hybridization. Program now blended online and offline formats. And students first connect and prepare project online, then meet face-to-face for intensive exchange, and continue collaborating digital afterwards. And it also pursues the sustainability and reciprocity. Exchanges are not one-time event. Many involve routine two-way visit and long-term sister city partnership, creating alumni trust and durable trust. So I'd like to hear, I'd like to say about the policy implications. It is need more stable multi-source funding mechanisms. Combining national, local, and private sector resources help programs survive political changes and budget cuts. This stability is essential for long-term planning. And integration with the school curricular, linking exchange activities to academic credit and service learning or career development to ensure that students and parents view participations as valuable and legitimated. And also, there need to standardize the evaluation and achiever system, and balance the digital in-person design and inclusively. Safety is very, very important. The framework is also very important. So as a conclusion, Korea and Japan youth exchanges has proven to be more than cultural goodwill, it acts as a quick but reliable buffer when relations between the two countries become strained and by diplomatic or historical dispute. To keep this program alive and impactful, we need stable funding and stronger institutional frameworks. When exchanges depend only on short-term grants or political cycles, they remain fragile. Finally, with better data collection and consistent evaluation and thoughtful program design, youth exchange can move beyond the individual experience to become a strategic public diplomacy asset, shaping long-term trust and mutual understanding between Korea and Japan. I think that's it, my presentation. Thank you for listening.
Okay. So thank you for your presentation. Also, yeah, as the Dr. Sok explained, then she protected the history and the development of the relationship, use exchange program between two countries, right? And then it's like the young generations use the exchange program is a kind of buffer zone of the between two countries. Also, this time I came to here and we learned a lot from the YMCA's youth programs, right? Also, you have many challenge program to the different countries youth program together. And then also we would like to learn the kind of challenge program. And then between two countries, we tried several many programs. But our youth program to come to here is a kind of challenging the pioneer program to us. Okay, thank you, the Dr. Sub. Also, yeah, we contact her again. Okay, yeah, thank you. Let's give her to her. Yeah. Okay, next, our official final presentation is by the Dokumory Lima from the Okinawa. But she have experienced the project in Mexico. Yeah, please. I would like to invite Dokumory Lima. Let's give a hand to her.
Can I start?
Okay.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Firstly, I would like to say thank you very much for you all because thanks to joining this workshop in Geneva, I also could learn a lot of things. And today I'd like to introduce my past activity, but not only in Mexico, but also other Latin American countries, especially Colombia and Peru. And my presentation's title is Generations, Identity, and the Work of Peace Building. And why identity? Well, identity is very important to drive you to take action. And today I want to introduce lessons learned from my activities. Well, in the beginning, I'd like to do my self-introduction. My name is Lima Linda Tokumori Kinjo, and because my father was born in Peru, he is Peruvian Okinawan. He gave me name Lima and Spanish name Linda, and Tokumori Kinjo as my father's and mother's family name. Mother is Okinawan. I'm activist, and my expert is peace building and migration and gender. And through volunteering, national volunteering program, I worked as community development specialist in Colombia in 2016 and in Peru 2017. And after that, using the similar national program, I could work in Mexico, especially in UNDP Mexico, United Nations Development Program in Mexico office as a peace building specialist through UN volunteering program from 2023 to 24. And this is my cute companion, Chachamaru. Briefly, I would like to explain my hometown Okinawa and Ryukyu's history. Well, Ryukyu is an old name of current Okinawa prefecture, and it has 450 years its own history as Ryukyu era. And later in 1879, Japan forcibly annexed Ryukyu, and it's almost the same as like Taiwan or Korea Peninsula or other Asian country. And during World War II, Okinawa was a battlefield site between Japan and American forces. And there were a severe damage because of the war. And after that, many Asian countries returned to their independence. But Okinawa still, as today, we are under the control of Japan. Well, but before that, from 1945 to 72, these 27 years, Okinawa also was under control of U.S. military occupation. And this period were like really, there was severe violence, a lot of violences. So like at that time, Okinawan people did strong movement to desire their constitution, sorry. Important constitution. Yeah, and now Okinawa returned to Japan's under Japan. Well, also I would like to mention current situation of Okinawa, because I think some of you knows Okinawa is one of famous place of having many U.S. American bases. Well, Okinawa is only 7.6% of Japan's territory, but we host more than 70% of U.S. exclusive bases. And because of this, we have many like problems such as environmental pollution, PFAS, water contamination, or incident or violences for boys and girls or women. Yeah. And not in addition to this, not only American military, but also recently, like Japan's self-defense force also have many problems on land of Okinawa to having joint training with U.S. military or like construction of military bases of them. Well, this is what I wanted to say here is if we talk about East Asia's peace, it means like Okinawa situation is really like connected, because if America or Japan try to expand, or they are trying to expand military power on Okinawan area, but well, I just want to like remind you, like Okinawa is one of important topic which we talk about Asian peace. Well, let's move on. Do you know Okinawa's cornerstone of peace? Japan said yes, but Korean said no. Okay, it's okay. Well, as I mentioned, like during World War II, Okinawa has severe battle. It's called Battle of Okinawa, and after commemorate like 30 anniversary after the World War II, Okinawan government and the people decide to, fifth anniversary, Okinawan people and government decided to create this cornerstone of peace to preserve the name of all victims. So not only Okinawan resident, but also American soldier, Japanese soldier, or well, soldiers from Taiwan or Korean Peninsula, all victims in Okinawa, Battle of Okinawa are here. And every year we renew their name because even it passed 80 years, we can't finish to finding the victims. Well, here, because I'm having such a background of Okinawa, when I worked in Colombia, I choose to do my activities regarding this peace building. And I was dispatched to a small municipality. It's called Granada. And the Granada also one of it's small municipality, but also famous victim places of conflict of Colombia. And 2000, they have a big bomb attack by guerrilla. And there are over 2,000 deaths. And moreover, they have more kidnapped also. But not only by guerrilla, but also from national army or private army. So the conflict is always complicated and always citizen become victim. And I did present Okinawan war history or experience, and we could have peace education there together. And I had a impressed experience there regarding generations' identity of conflict. Well, every year in Colombia, 9th of April, they have a demonstration with the title of Day of Victims. And at that day, people marched with having giving white flower and hope the peace. And that time, one girl came to me, and she looks only have 10 years old, and she said, "Lima, I'm directly not experienced the war, but I'm also a victim because I was born this community and I grew up this community." And it's really impressed to me because inside of her, she has a strong identity as not only as victim, but also person related to history of conflict, right? And I realized it's almost the same with me or with us also, because we also have history of the war, and we also need to have this kind of conscious, but it's really difficult. And I think it's because of, there are many reasons, the differences between Colombia and Japan or Asia, but I think because kind of language also cause of this, because in Spanish or English, victim means two meanings, I think. Difficult. People who died and the people who damaged. But in Japanese language or in Asia, it's really separated, and we all don't use, we always use war survivor or war experience, people who experienced war. So our generation is difficult to find connection, the generation who experienced war. But anyway, this is what I learned my staying in Colombia. And next is about Peru. Well, in Lima, capital of Peru, there are the National Institute of Peace Memorial. It's called Place of Memory, Tolerance, and Social Inclusion. And what I surprised was inside of museum, they have an exhibition, but not only but explained not in Spanish, but also their indigenous native language, Quechua. It's really effective way to show who is the victim in the conflict. And it seemed to me it makes the victims to give to victims to their dignity and social inclusion, through this exhibition. And also Okinawa has the same point, like Okinawan people spoke the Shimakutuba, their native language, but we always like were forced to speak in Japanese language because our like education is totally Japanese system. So this also, I think, related to identity point to like succeed or experienced for generation. Well, I'm closing. Well, my later of the experience, I went to Mexico, and during my staying as UNB, I joined like women's march, or well, Mexico also one of the country who has severe kidnapped problem for citizens. And I had an experience to have a speech in a conference which supported by Ministry of Education, and I showed what I experienced, explained, and peace education in Okinawa. And people of Mexico told me, Lima, thank you very much, because sometimes it's really difficult or at risk for them to talk about experience of war or violence. So like through me, they can like share their, like they can make a space to talk about their pains also. Well, this is my conclusion.
Wow. But you have a hidden
not
pictures.
conclusion. I have a little bit message. Well, through my experience, presentation, I want to say, even it's like a really personal level, but to convey or tell your experience to other people is very important, because it is a like way to find how connect with others and how create peace from each person's point of view. And I was really moved to see everyone getting along together this time, regardless of nationality or your languages, and to see your willingness to learn together in this workshop. And like myself, our generation, even we don't have a direct experience of conflict, or I mean, direct experience of war, but therefore I strongly believe we can create peace together, because if you experience the war dialect, it means it's more like difficult, right? Then, well, if Korean people and Japanese people can work together for creating peace, I think it's not only for Asia, but also for the world, it's really meaningful. Well, thank you very much.
Oh, Lima, thank you so much. Then, yeah, also we learned a lot of things from Okinawa. The police Okinawa just not remember the Okinawa victims, right? Also, they remembered so many the not just victims. They thinking about the more of the grander peace. And she also experienced the other areas, Mexico and then Colombia, right? That area also have the civil war and the conflict of colonizing together. Today, maybe we learned or listened to from two speakers, from Ms. Seok-Jui. She also explained the relations between the two countries, several programs. Just we started from how we ended the Korean War, how we dissolved the colonial problem. But we have to understand more. There were several mutual exchange programs, a lot of, right? And other countries also have the kind of try to make the challenge program. And we learned the YMCA and the ILO and the IFRC. All the organizations also try to make the kind of peace to let's program and use the program together. And this is a very good chance to we understand and the thinking what is peace, how the two countries, Korea and Japan, overcome our problem, and we made another more grand and more future peace together, right? Yeah, let's give it to Dr. Lima, and thank you so much. part. Then, let me move to the second part to your sections. Then to first, okay. We have the junior program for almost 4 years, and then maybe this program is instead by the Hibino Chika and then his Han from Japan and Korea. First, maybe I would like to move my mic to person how they organize this program, right? And how they feel in visiting these areas. The first, Hibino Chika, maybe. She is a very, very key person of this program. And I would also give my respect to Hibino Chika. Thanks. Give to her.
Everyone and inviting me for this really precious opportunity. So my name is Chika, and then I'm a staff member of this New Era Asia Peace Academy. And then I'm also supporting this NPA Junior Course Program since we started it in 2021. Then now I have a few comments about this program and this field work. And then at first, for the beginning, I just want to report about children education in Japan current situation from the perspective of my previous work as a Japanese junior high school public teacher experience. Then the turning point of Japanese education policy was 2006. At this year, the basic education law was changed, amended. Since then, the schools have become more nationalistic, actually, and the Japanese education policy is getting much more competitive. So because of this, the gap between children is getting bigger and bigger. And then in this situation, more children cannot go to school right now. The number of children who cannot go to school is getting increased more and more in Japan now. So that means the equal chance to get an education are in danger, I think. And then in history classes, Japanese colonial rule history has not been taught much ever before. And then recently, some textbooks even change, distorted or hide part of the history. So I think it is the cause of the discrimination and hatred in Japanese society. Then for this meaning, NPA Junior helps children by protecting their own rights to run and then giving them correct information and offering a chance to share their opinions as well. And then, so from the participant of junior member, many participants say that they didn't learn about Japanese colonial rule in school. So for them, what they learn at NPA is often the very first time they hear about it. This makes them realize the lack of education opportunity as well. And by studying shared history together, they can also begin to understand the pain of people from other countries. So this help deepen mutual understanding with Korean students too. And also through the online courses program of NPA Junior, students also learn about issues that continue from history into today, such as reflecting of colonial rule, ending the Korean War, and conscription and military bases, and also nuclear abolition, and the climate crisis, and so on. And then besides online classes, children also enjoy joint field work like this moment and workshop with Korean students. These activities help build common understanding and friendship. In field work, they work in real places and directly feel what they have studied on site. And in peace workshop, they remove their tension and barriers, and they can speak in their own words and organize what they have learned. So this kind of learning at NPA Junior is very important, I think. It helps students move from a narrow understanding to a wider and deeper understanding. It also provides a foundation for thinking about peace in the future. Junior members also share what they have learned at their own school and then make proposal to local education boards, and some even study abroad at university overseas, for example, South Korea. So in this way, we hope they will grow to be active in their communities and in the world with an international outlook and a strong spirit for peace and human rights. And then through this field work, maybe some of participant students really worry about their English, and then sometimes it seems to be a little bit difficult to understand the whole of the contents, but still they try to do their own effort as much as possible, and then they had a lot of precious experience here. So I believe they learned a lot of things, and they felt a lot of new things through this field work too. And then lastly, I just want to share this group name. This one is from yesterday's our peace workshop, and then so this is the name this student's member decide their own group name. So Japan Korea Youth Delegation Rinkopan. And this group name really original. Yeah. And then the first we made two groups, and then one group think Japan Korea Youth Delegation, and then another group Rinkopan. Rinkopan is link Korea and Japan, and mixed together and combined together, Rinkopan. Okay. So finally, actually I combined together. This is a really fantastic idea. And then, so I believe the youth has this kind of flexible idea. So at the same time, I believe they have the power and energy to overcome this kind of historical memory, and they have I believe they can reflect their own history, and then they can think about what they can do in the future together. So I'm really excited to hear their response after this. Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Chita Hibino. Let me apologize to everybody. I made the name the Peace for Human Rights, the delegation group from Japan and Korea, or as Rinkopan is better, right? Your energy is better than me. Okay, let's move to the next person. Hiso Han, she's coordinator of Seoul YMCA program, and she's a member of the National Council of YMCA of Korea. Yes, yeah, she's very key person of Korean program. Let's give a hands to her.
Everyone, my name is Hisu. I work at the National Council of YMCAs of Korea. I mainly support university student activity and international exchange programs. As the earlier speaker said, there are still many unresolved historical issues between Korea and Japan. At the same time, both countries have strong civic organizations that can share message of democracy and peace in East Asia. This means there are many things we can do together. I have worked at the YMCA, organizing many programs where young people from Korea and Japan meet each other. For example, we visited the DMZ in Korea to think about division and peace. And we also visited Koreatown in Japan to study the discrimination against Chinese Koreans. This program has been a big challenge for me and Korean YMCA because it was held not in Korea or Japan, but in our third country, here in Geneva. We could see how international organizations work, and we could raise the voice of East Asia's peace issue to the international community. So I believe that such experience based on dialogue and international law help young people growing as global citizens for peace. By studying together in this way, we also realize something very important, that is we are connected. For example, the division of Korea is not separated from Japan, in peace in Japan, and the Fukushima nuclear power plant problem in Japan is not separated from peace and life in Korea and East Asia. So I believe it is very important for young people to keep discovering this sense of connection. The MPA program was a process where young people could experience themselves as actors of peace. For example, when Japanese participant Mizuki come to study in Jeju Island, Korea, at the time I was also in Jeju, leading a camp with young people from the Asia Pacific region. During a climate march in Jeju, we met again. I was so happy to see her raising her voice as a citizen. At that moment, I thought again about the power of young exchange and education. This experience is not only about helping young people, but about learning and growing together as companions, and about becoming global citizens who long for peace together. They are already change maker with us. Yeah, YMCA is always about empowering young people. We know how important it is for youth to speak about their right to peace. The Korean YMCA will continue to gathering young voice and supporting them to becoming friends and empower them to grow as actors of peace. Thank you.
Thank you, Hisan. Yeah, and then Himino Chika. As you heard that, what is the MPA and what is the junior class? Yes, maybe everyone you said that in MPA classes there's no such thing. First, there's no competition, there's no exam, right? There's no discrimination, right? We don't have teacher or student, or each other we learn together, and just we have the hope and future, right? This is our class, and then the 2% made it and support this program. Yeah, let's give a hands to person again. And this is the last time for your time. So I made this program for this final stage for yours, and then your first Yes, let's start your opinions or your kind of the thinking. What did you see and what did you thought about that 4 weeks? Then first from Seung-yeon Shin and next Japan's Neo Takamine and there's Korea Japan exchange and just conference. Okay, right. But speak is a little loudly and less completely. Yeah, okay. Thank you from Seung-yeon Shin. Okay, just give it. Yeah. So sitting is okay. Just please introduce yourself. Where are you from? And then nobody. Maybe we know, but on so many guests they don't know. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, let's give a hand to her.
So, hello everyone. My name is Seung-yeon, and I'm a youth participant from Korea, currently living in Manila, the Philippines. And growing up in a foreign country, I became interested in different nations' histories, which eventually led me to join the Korea and Japan youth delegation. And I'm very honored to share my thoughts and inspirations here in Geneva at this very moment. From early June to late August, we held several online meetings where we discussed peace relations between Korea and Japan. And this week, we have had the opportunity to visit important international organizations, including the UN headquarters, the International Red Cross, ICRC, and IFRC, and the International Labor Organization, ILO. I learned how different NGOs and international institutions cooperate to respond to global challenges, whether it is protecting human rights, supporting workers, or providing humanitarian aid through constant dialogue and collaboration. These experiences have been truly meaningful to me, and I realized that NGOs are not just supporters, but essential partners in building peace, justice, and dignity for people worldwide. The regular Zoom meetings also gave me background knowledge, which made my visits in Geneva more clear and more impactful. Although I'm still young, I now believe more strongly that I can make steps to make the world more equal, diverse, and unified. I now also realize that peace cannot be achieved by one nation alone. It requires communication, understanding, and cooperation across borders. As youth, our voices may be small, but they matter. We have the power to build bridges, create friendships, and prevent conflicts by fostering trust. This journey is only a beginning, and I look forward to taking more steps together toward a more peaceful tomorrow. Thank you.
2 minute speech, right? We also like to repeat the 2 hours. Wow, this is wonderful. And then next move to Neo Takamine. Yes.
Hello, my name is Neo Takamine and I'm from Japan. Since coming to Switzerland, I have been struck by the difference in public awareness regarding the Palestinian issue. In Japan, the conflict feels distant and demonstrations are usually small in scale, often limited to speeches. Here in Switzerland, however, I witnessed large and passionate demonstrations, including people camping in front of the United Nations or singing songs to express their solidarity. This was very different from what I had experienced in Japan, and it left a strong impression on me. These experiences made me reflect on Japan's own stance. I believe that our society also needs stronger sense of commitment to peace at the level of ordinary citizens. At the same time, I am concerned about the growing rejection of foreign workers and the tendency to turn inward. Such resistance to diversity, I fear, leads only to stagnation. Instead, Japan must embrace change and pursue social reform proactively. Only then can we build a society that is open, dynamic, and truly committed to peace. In this regard, I also hope that the Japanese government will take more active steps to improve relations with Korea, since stronger cooperation between our two nations will be vital for stability and progress in the region. Thank you very much.
Takamine also shares the Korean Japanese and she has a multicultural background. Right? And we met so many multicultural background staff or the organizations. Yeah. Also maybe in future, where she's a kind of organizer of the world organizations, right? Okay, next move to Jihu. No. This is just one man and the Korean groups.
Hello everyone, I am Jihu No. I'm 15 years old from South Korea. Through my online classes, I had an opportunity to learn about Korea-Japan relations, especially about Japan's colonial rule and also about children's rights. At first, these were not the topics I had much interest in, but the classes encouraged me to think more deeply and even sparked new curiosity in these ideas. Later, I visited international organizations such as IFRC, ICRC, United Nations, World YMCA, and the ILO. Walking through these institutions made me realize how important collaboration, harmony, communication, respect, and compromise truly are when solving global issues. These values are not just abstract ideas, they are foundations that make international cooperation possible. Finally, when I reflect on the past and the classes we had, I got few ideas. I thought about the Cold War era in 1960s when the United States and the Soviet Union fought an information war between communism and capitalism, which led to proxy wars such as the Korean War, Vietnam War, and Cuban Missile Crisis. Today, we see the similar patterns like the China or the Russia and other state sponsor of terrorism countries attempt to expand their influence through the communism in Korea and Ghana by engaging in elections and also threatening by military forces on surrounding regions. Just like in the beginning of the Cold War, secret alliances can create a tension and mistrust, but through my visits in UN, IFRC, ICRC, and YMCA, I learned that true progress comes from unity, communication, and mutual respect. Historical events like Cold War and Japanese colonial period reminds us that attempts at communizing or colonizing are never the right path. What we need instead is the dialogue, cooperation, and the ability to find common ground together. Like Harry Truman, it declared Truman Doctrine and Marshall Plan to stop Soviet expansion and help other countries, which is reflecting on themes like communication between many countries. Thank you for listening.
Wow. Oh, intellectual, right? Yeah, it's good. Yeah, so we lost the time, but it's very slowly. It's no, don't hurry. Oh, it's okay. I request more overwork. So sorry. Okay. Then next to go to Roka. Yes. Okay. Let's give a hand to her.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Roka Yuasa. During our visit to Switzerland, we had the opportunity to explore many places. Today, I would like to introduce one of them. It is a headquarters of the World YMCA. The YMCA is the oldest organization for youth in the world. At their headquarters, we learned about their history and current projects from the establishment of their YMCA to their current work. At their end of the tour, they looked at their archives, including a large collection of YMCA-related materials. I saw some very unusual items. It was a magazine published by the Germany YMCA, and Adolf Hitler was portrayed on their cover. The staff explained that he was responsible for the fact that the Christians of that time admired him, to introduce him in this way. The comments left a deep impression on me. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, Roka, thank you. Guys, maybe I think that the most popular student in the Japan because she strongly against the school's rule and she speeched in the parliament of the local government. So in the future, maybe we can see she speech in the UN, right? Yeah. Okay, thank you. Next, move to Yuna Kim.
Hello everyone, my name is Yuna and I'm 14 and I'm a youth participant from Korea. Honestly, this was my first time joining an international exchange program and also my first time visiting Europe, so everything was completely new and exciting for me. This week has been a very special experience because it gave me the chance to see how international organizations actually work. During this program, we visited several international organizations, including ICRC, IFRC, ILO, YMCA, and the United Nations. Each organization has different goals and activities. But one thing that I was common to all of them was their dedication to peace, human rights, and international cooperation. At the same time, I realized how important its organization's role and responsibilities. Even a small decision or action by one institution can have a huge impact on people's lives or life. I realized how closely cooperation and responsibility are connected in the international community. And I also had the chance to see demonstration on international issues in front of the UN building. Seeing this demonstration up close rather than just on the news helped me truly feel the realities and emotions of people. Through this program, I was able to connect with friends and create meaningful memories. I'm also grateful to our teachers for giving us this opportunity. These experiences made me more certain that I was to be part of international cooperation and positive change. I'll carry these lessons with me as I continue to learn and grow with people from around.
Thank you, Yuna. So you are wonderful that you are thought and the ideas. And then the next move to Asaba Komatsu.
I'm from Japan, but
Most louder.
episode about the Rwandan massacre that I saw at the ACRC left the strongest impression on me. What struck me most was how deeply the children were affected not just by the violence itself, but by the fact that they couldn't even speak their names or share their identity. Instead, they took Polaroid photos of around 8,000 people and went from village to village in an effort to help identify them. The idea that these children went through such traumatic experiences that they lost their voices and yet there steady, determined efforts to restore each person's identity moved me deeply. From this episode, I realized that humanitarian aid is not just about protecting lives. It's also about helping people reclaim who they are, having a name, being connected to your family, and feeling safe in a community. These are things many of us take for granted. This experience left me with an important question. What can I do when all of that is lost for someone? Oh, thank you.
I'm proud of you. Yes, you speak English first time. Yeah, your mother also proud of you. Yeah, okay, let's message it to your mother together. Thank you. Thank you. So let's give a hug. Okay, in the last person of each countries, 신유오. 시윤. 시연. Okay. Sorry.
Hi, my name is Xian. I'm from South Sudan, but I'm currently living in Washington, D.C. Growing up, I was raised in a very multicultural environment, having lived in Korea, Canada, Indonesia, and eventually the U.S. Because I was raised in this context, I never really learned about the history of South Korea, let alone the relationship between Korea and Japan. And I'd always carried a very surface level understanding of the two countries, knowing what had historically happened, but never really understanding the complexity of the relationship. Over the past few months, through participating in online lessons that talked about these topics, I was able to explore this relationship and connect this information to my prior interests in justice and peace. Growing up in Indonesia, I was exposed to many systematic issues, and a lot of the times they were overlooked by people in society who had actual power to take action. As a result, I've always held an interest and passion for serving marginalized communities and addressing human rights issues. These interests have expanded more recently to encompass a broader interest in social justice as a whole. Coming to Geneva and seeing how the UN, as well as other organizations such as the ICRC, IFRC, YMCA, and ILO are taking specific measures to address these issues has been really inspiring and thought-provoking. It has also made me think a lot about some of the more approachable ways that I can get involved in addressing these issues in my community. And it has also shaped the way that I want to pursue my career. In addition, through spending time and building friendships with my peers, both Korean and Japanese, I was able to learn from their perspectives and their worldviews. And although this gathering represents how our generation can reconnect on a micro level, I hope that these small steps will have a ripple effect and inspire us to create lasting change. Finally, through gaining these new experiences and perspectives, I have even more certainty that I want to play a part in this change. I want to contribute to building a more peaceful world where understanding transcends old divisions. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, wonderful your idea, and it's a very pleasure to share your ideas. Okay. You're waiting so long time, right? As I was a pioneer working person is Hugo. Okay, let's give a hand to him.
Hi, my name is Hugo Nakano. I've been part of the NPA from 3 years ago, from the beginning of my high school years, and now at the end of my high school years. And I have also taken part in the last NPA and YMCA Korea event, which took place in Seoul, Korea. The current program started off from June 7th, and through summer break, where we had an interactive lecture, learning a variety of topics from normalization of diplomatic relationship between Japan and Korea, how the United Nations functions, about the UN Convention of the Right of the Children, and a couple informal preparatory meetings. And this week, we came to Geneva. And in Geneva, I think many of the concepts we had learned in this program and I had learned throughout the NPA program came together. For instance, the person working for the IFRC, the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Society, was speaking yesterday that there is an increased trend of death of volunteer workers and the disregard of internationally recognized neutral humanitarian institution like his. I think this trend can be compared to what we learned about World War II and the Japanese colonial history, where one of the reasons the war broke out was because Axis power, largely started with Japan, began to break international laws and treaties. And right before the war, leaving the League of Nations, the predecessor of the UN. Whether it's Russian-Ukrainian war, the war and the genocide taking place in Gaza, or the unstable situation in America under Donald Trump, I think it's pretty clear that the current situation too, international laws and humanitarian organizations are being disregarded, which I think is a pretty dangerous and scary trend to see. But to end on a more positive note, coming here, I think I also truly learned the power and the importance of passion and resilience. Any international organization from the United Nations, IFRC, and YMCA, due to its long history and decentralized nature, have faced fair share of criticism, especially regarding the stance of neutrality and impartiality. But I think that does not necessarily mean that the thought and the idea of creating the space for conversation between both sides is a lost cause, especially when I realize that these places are created with an overwhelming amount of work and time, driven by passion and resilience of individuals, past, present, and in the future, even when the results of those efforts are not promised. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you for everybody's your thought and ideas shared together. This is our final time. Before we came here, maybe we think or thought that what is international organization, and after visiting here, maybe we come to know more world, the large world on another new world, right? Then first, I also thinking that overcome Korean War and then solve the colonial problem is important to just two countries. But we know that it's not national sentiment of the two countries. We find or we come to know there are a lot of countries have several civil war and then colonial problem together, but they try to solve this problem in the old organization and the international organization, and they would like to dialogue, try to dialogue together. In this time, I found several areas, there's a severe problem. I know, polarized country, polarized society, but they try to dialogue is very important. Keeping dialogue and finding the solution together. This is a key word I found here, and also maybe you found that kind of another peace way, right? And then maybe we have to prepare the direct witness of the war of colonized people is getting away, fading away in the history stages, right? But how can we succeed that kind of history problem or history intelligence or historical kind of this witness, right? Then without the direct the witness, but we have to succeed or we have to learn the historical and the political problem. But we have to try to find another way to succeed that kind of their ideas and their fact and their experience to the next generation. But our generation also have a responsibility to make a kind of your future's peace. That's the reason we try to finish Korean War and solve the corona problem, and we also try to solve the climate change problem for the next future generation together. But you tried, right? You also tried to take your right to peace, your by self and coalition and the solidarity together, right? And this is, I think, not peace. This is a new step of ours, and this is a not small step, it's a giant step to make the peace in our future, right? And then finally, let me thanks to us, our heart to World YMCA and the market is so wonderful. Thank you for your support, right? And then we have a program. Our program is supported by IUS of Japan and NGOs, and then Northeast Historical Institute of Korea. Yes, let's give a hand to the institution. And today, so many people from Korea and Japan and other world NGOs, the participants that attended this section. Yeah, thanks to our heart to them also together. Okay, that's good. finish and we go to the buy chocolate. Thank you so much. Yeah, thanks. Hi. Bye bye. Bye. Say goodbye.